Hi all, welcome back to a new post today. And before beginning, let me ask you a simple question. What if you can send money to another country using your Google Pay or a Paytm? Very simple, without using your account number or the IFSC code, or through a net banking system, or even using the services of a Western Union. Yes, now this is being possible between India and Singapore, because we have linked our digital payment systems with theirs. So there is a cross-border digital payment link that has been agreed to. So today itself, between India and Singapore, and this is going to be a very big boon for businesses, students, remittances that come from Singapore to India, and also from India to Singapore. Now this is an actually breakthrough for especially businesses, and also transferring of money between India and Singapore. So let's get into the details. Now, India's real-time payment system, that is the unified payment system, which allows for quick digital payments through apps like your Bharat Pay, Paytm, Google Pay, and its equivalent network in Singapore, that is the PayNOW, are integrated today for enabling faster transfer of money in a competitive rate, and also very efficiently, without disclosing your bank details. Now with this, people in both the countries, that's India and Singapore, can send money real time using your digital payment apps, or using a QR code, or by simply entering your mobile number linked to their bank accounts. Now in India, the UPI has become the very famous mode of payment system, especially during the COVID and aftermath, with a whopping 74 billion transactions totaling to more than 126 trillion. And according to the experts, integrating of our two digital payment systems, that India's UPI and Singapore's PayNow, will make it possible for the citizens of both the countries to send money and receive money very quickly, conveniently, securely, and efficiently. Now, money can be sent through these digital wallets via the UPI, using the UPI ID, VPA, or a mobile number. And additionally, information such as the bank account number or the IFSC code, which is given by every bank, is not required. Now, this is a testimony of India's growth in digital payment superpower. So what actually is UPI, on the basis of which we use the various digital payments apps like your Phone Pay, Google Pay, Paytm, Bharat Pay, etc. So UPI is an instant real-time payment system that has been developed by a corporation named as the National Payments Corporation of India. Similarly, the PayNow is a real-time instant payment system that has been developed by the Association of Banks in Singapore. So this UPI is India's mobile-based fast payment system, which facilitates the customers to make around-the-clock payments, that is 24/7, using just your virtual payment address created by the customer. So usually it asks us the UPI ID or the address before we make a payment sometimes. So I hope you can recognize that very easily. So it eliminates the risk of sharing the bank account details by the remitter, and the UPI supports not only person-to-person payment but also person-to-merchant payment, and that's how we are able to do our e-commerce purchases as well, and even your supermarket purchasing. It also enables a user to send and receive money very easily and instantly. So this interface facilitates interbank, peer-to-peer, and person-to-merchant transactions. Now PayNow, which is in Singapore, is also the same real-time instant payment system that has been developed by the Association of Banks in Singapore. So with this integration, payments between India and Singapore will become very fast, as the way we do it just here in India through your Google Pay, Paytm, Phone Pay, etc. So in India, this 24/7 cross-border connectivity project can be utilized by using the regular payment apps which we use now, like the Google Pay, Paytm, and other similar digital payment systems or wallets, to transfer money to people or anybody, businessmen, from whom we have purchased in Singapore. And people from Singapore can do the similar thing using their virtual payment to transfer money in India by using similar apps there, which is based on PayNow. So our apps will be based on UPI and their apps will be based on PayNow. So let's get into the further details. So what does it mean for you and me if we are in Singapore, or somebody, or if you are purchasing something from Singapore? Let's say for now we are planning a trip to Singapore as well. Now in India, an Indian user can send up to 60,000 rupees a day using the UPI PayNow link. Similarly, if you all are aware, we have a limit that we can send on a daily basis using payment apps in India like Google Pay, etc. So India's unified payment interface is an instant real-time payment system which allows users to transfer money across multiple banks without disclosing the bank account details, and there is a limit to the amount which we can send. So this limit between UPI and PayNow of Singapore is now fixed at 60,000 rupees. So PayNow in Singapore will facilitate the same peer-to-peer fund transfer, and with this collaboration it's going to be benefiting to not only student, migrants, workers, and also tourists especially. So according to latest government data, why actually Singapore? Now let me tell you that they are 6.5 lakh Indians residing in Singapore, and also we get a large amount of remittances coming from Singapore to India. So to begin with, for now, SBI, Indian Overseas Bank, Indian Bank, ICICI Bank will facilitate both inward and outward remittances, while Axis Bank and DBS India will facilitate inward remittances. For Singapore users, the service will be available using the DBS Singapore and Liquid Group, a non-banking financial institution. So these banks there will facilitate the payments. More number of banks will be included in the linkage over a period of time, and this was said by the RBI. So the RBI called the launch today between the cross-border payment system of India and Singapore a significant milestone in the development of next generation infrastructure for cross-border payment system in India and UPI. So what was the background? Was this a sudden development, or has this been tried already? So let's look into this briefly. Now last month, the NPCI, who created the UPI, asked the UPI ecosystem to allow users from some countries with non-resident account types like NRE and NRO, which stands for non-resident external, and non-resident ordinary accounts with international mobile numbers, to transact through the Indian system, that is the UPI. And consequently, a payment app called as PhonePe launched the support for a cross-border UPI payments under the UPI International. So the scheme is called as UPI International. And now this has been made users to use their Indian bank accounts to pay at merchant outlets in countries like UAE, Singapore, Mauritius, Nepal, and Bhutan. So those of you, if you are in any of these countries, or some of your people are there and you have a PhonePe and are using the UPI International service, can send and receive money very easily. So RBI has proposed to allow foreign tourists to make merchant payments while in India via the UPI, and this system allows the users to link the bank accounts to the related apps such as the Paytm, PhonePe, Google Pay, etc. to make merchant payments and fund transfers. So those who come to India like tourists, they can use these, they can link their bank accounts and use these payment apps and make payments in India very easily, rather than going to a Western Union or using a bank to withdraw money and then exchanging them into foreign currency. So considering the Indian diaspora, especially across the globe, the National Payments Corporation of India has been recently allowing NRIs from 10 countries, let me tell you, like Singapore, Hong Kong, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, US, Australia, Canada, and United Kingdom to digitally transfer funds using the UPI platform from their NRE and NRO accounts. Now Singapore is the first set of these 10 countries, and it is indeed a revolution. So if you see the names of these countries, most of them are West Asia countries from where you have a large Indian diaspora who send a lot of remittances from there, and also many of Indians in US, UK, Australia, and Canada. So these countries were allowed to make UPI payments using their NRE and NRO accounts, and now Singapore is the first country through whom we have digitally linked the payments using UPI and PayNow. So even on February 21st, the RBI government had extended its unified payment service to include visitors from G20. So let me tell you, we are holding the rotating presidency, and so many of the people or dignitaries will be coming to India for various sittings of Sherpa level group meetings and also working group meetings for the G20 summit, etc. To start off, it was available to travelers from G20 countries at selected international airports like Bangalore, Mumbai and New Delhi. Now these travelers could be issued prepaid payment instruments once they come to India. These are wallets which are linked to the UPI, and they can use these to make payments to merchant outlets very easily from their bank accounts. So what's the advantage of this cross-border payment linkage system between UPI and PayNow? As I told you, it's going to benefit the students, businesses between the two countries, especially with faster payment efficiently. There will be more economic transactions, more linking of businesses, etc. And also the countries who are functioning in India may as well, the ASEAN countries may as well use this payment system to make transactions very simple. So more of economic economic transfers between ASEAN countries through Singapore in India. So let's look in this briefly. Now, first of all, remittances. So Singapore is one of the top 4 inward remittances market, and approximately it accounts for 5.7% of the total remittances to India. So like approximately $5.8 billion of the 100 billion to inward remittances that India gets. So digital linkage between UPI and PayNow means seamless transfer of remittances between the two countries instantly, that too. Now this facility to transfer, scan the QR code and to carry out quick and effective transactions across the geological borders will also help the students, workers staying there. So as per the Ministry of External Affairs, the document given by them in 2022, there are 6.5 Indians, as I told you, who are staying in Singapore. This is going to benefit them on a large basis. And RBI said that the linkage will be a significant milestone to develop the infrastructure for cross-border payments, not only now in Singapore, but this will be like a case study and help in other countries as well. It will benefit the migrant workers, tourists especially, who go from India to Singapore and come from Singapore to India, and small businesses and enterprises. This will also be a significant foundation for cross-border payments between India and ASEAN countries, creating a favorable environment for digital payments beyond the borders. And the UPI PayNow linkage will now enable faster payments. So these are the few and the most important advantages actually. So this is just the beginning, the start of a cross-border payment between two countries, that's India and Singapore, and I'm sure it's going to be a big boon for businesses, tourists, migrants and students, and it's going to expand in the near time to ASEAN countries and also the above said countries, so making payments faster, efficient and also immediate between India and other countries. Boon for students, migrants, businesses mainly. So I hope this content was really helpful to you all, and if you did like it, like, share, subscribe and please don't forget to really comment. And thank you for all those who keep supporting me, and I shall see you in my next post. And until then, as usual, it's very happy learning.